Welcome to Blazing Baseball, episode number 38, where we blaze through today's MLB's topics, and we are Astros and Yankees fans.
Yep.
And so, one of the topics, there's a good Washington Post article that kind of dwells deeper into this baseball
Yep.
talk and change up of this season, and
Uh-huh.
we'll discuss more about that later today
Right.
on this podcast. But we will first discuss the games that are coming on today.
All right.
And up first, we have starting in less than half an hour. We have the Giants at the Cards is the first game
Mm-hmm.
today, and then later today we have the Padres at the Braves, the Angels at the A's, the Orioles at the Tigers, the Brewers at the Marlins, the Blue Jays at the Rays, the Reds at the Pirates, the Red Sox at the Rangers, the Astros at the Nats, the Yankees at the White Sox, the Guardians at the Twins, the Mariners at the Mets, Cubs at D-backs, Royals at Rockies, Angels at A's. So that's a doubleheader right there.
Yeah.
And Phillies at Dodgers. I feel like there might have been another doubleheader.
I don't see it.
Yeah, no, that was the only one. Alrighty.
All right. Astros won last night, 6-1 in Washington, D.C. against the Nationals. They had good hitting and good pitching. Brantley had a double, and Bregman had a double. And Altuve, Gurriel, and Alvarez all had homers. They scored 5 runs in the first inning, and they held on to win 6-1. So the pitching was good all game, and they had 7 hits. The winning pitcher was Valdez. He went 7 2/3 innings. He gave up 1 run on 7 hits. He had 6 strikeouts, and his ERA is 2.93. Montero and Presley closed it out. Presley pitched the ninth inning. He gave up 1 hit. Of course, they shut him down. The losing pitcher was Gray. He's 4-3 with a 4.34 ERA. Presley's ERA is 4.2. So there was 18,433 fans at National Park in Washington, D.C. But their home team, the Nationals, lost the game to the Astros, which allowed the Astros to be in first place in the AL West. They are 22-11. The Nationals are 11-23, and they're in 5th place in the National League East. So all about the Astros getting hot, they're hitting and they're pitching. So they're tough when they do both because they can score a lot of runs and they can hit homers. Plus, they got the doubles going on.
Mhm.
All right. You want to do what's happening today for the game? Well, they're playing tonight against the Nationals.
One correction that we want to make here, and this is also on this article about the baseballs, but we were saying there's humidors in all of the stadiums this season. They're in all of them, but in Colorado.
That's right.
Coors Field.
Colorado Rockies, because of the altitude,
Mhm.
they don't have the humidors. 29 of them are in all the stadiums, and they have to put 2,400 balls into the humidors, and they must remain there for 2 weeks before they can use them. So they're really serious about the balls. I didn't realize it was that big of a deal, but it is. And they're keeping close calculations on each of the balls, and they have to be in the humidor for 2 weeks.
Yep. And so today we have, and we'll dive back into some of the more baseball talk later. But for the Astros, we have starting at 6:05 at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C., we have Christian Javier on the mound, who's a right-handed pitcher who is 2-0 with a .83 ERA and 25 strikeouts.
He's a good pitcher.
And then for the Nats, we have Eric Fed. Sorry if I mispronounced any names. Who is a right-handed pitcher who's 2-2 with a 3.9 ERA and 26 strikeouts. And we do not have a lineup in right now, so we will give you the Blazing Baseball prediction.
Yeah.
And that's going to be yesterday's lineup. And so we have Altuve up first at second base, then Brantley at DH, Bregman at third base, Alvarez at left field, Tucker at right field, Uriel at first base, Diaz at shortstop, McCormick at center field, Maldonado at catcher. And then for the Nats, we have Hernandez up first at second base, then Soto at right field, Bell at first base, Cruz at DH, Ruiz at catcher, Franco at third base, Thomas at left field, Escobar at shortstop, and Robles at center field. And
You want to do the Yanks?
yeah,
I want to do the Yanks because they won last
yeah.
night. Yankees won again against the Chicago White Sox in Chicago, 10-4 last night. They were hitting the ball. They were scoring runs. They were hitting home runs. They were hitting doubles. Hicks had a double. Donaldson had a double. Stanton had a homer. Judge, Gallo, Donaldson all had homers. So 4 Yankees had homers. We got 14 hits, 10 runs, and we held the White Sox to 4 runs on 9 hits. The winning pitcher for the Yanks was Cole. He's 3-0 with a 2.95 ERA. He went 6 1/3 innings. King closed the game out for the Yankees. He gave up 1 earned run. He has a 1.59 ERA. Velasquez got the loss for the Chicago White Sox. He's 2-3 with a 5.5 ERA. So the Yankees, they're hitting. They're really hitting the ball. They are 24-8 in the AL East first place, and they are the first team in Major League Baseball to have 24 wins. At the Chicago White Sox guaranteed rate field, there was 28,877 fans for the Chicago White Sox. Unfortunately, they didn't win last night against the Yanks. The Yanks prevailed. And they're playing again tonight in Chicago.
That's good for us Yankees fans.
Yeah. So tonight they're playing at 6:10. Who's chucking?
We have Jordan Montgomery on the mound, who's a left-handed pitcher for the Yanks, who is 0-1 with a 2.9 ERA and 25 strikeouts. And then we have the former Astro on the mound for the White Sox, Dallas Keuchel, who is a left-handed pitcher, who is 2-3 with a 6.86 ERA and 13 strikeouts. And right now we don't have a lineup posted for this game, so we'll give y'all the Blazing Baseball prediction, which is last night's game. And we have up first for the Yanks, LeMahieu at first base, Judge at right field, Donaldson at third base, Stanton at DH, Torres at second base, Gallo at left field, Kenner Phillips at shortstop, Trevino at catcher, and Hicks at center field. And then for the White Sox, we have up first Anderson at shortstop, Moncada at third base, Abreu at first base, Robert at center field, Sheets at DH, Pollock at left field, Harrison at second base, Garcia at right field, and McGuire at catcher.
All right. And the Yankees bat very well against Kershaw. I'm looking at the record here. Torres bats .500 against Kershaw. Stanton bats .444, and the Judge bats .364 against Kershaw in past history. So the Yankees are pretty good hitters against him. They might get a couple of more home runs tonight.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. And so, going over standings in the AL East, we have the Yanks in first, 4.5 games over the Rays. In the AL Central, the Twins are 3 games over the White Sox, and also, go back up, please. Yeah, and the Guardians. And the AL West, Houston is in first, half game over the Angels. In the NL East, the Mets are 5.5 games over Philadelphia. In the NL Central, the Brewers are 3.5 games over the Cards. And in the NL West, the Dodgers and Padres are tied for first, half a game over the Giants.
Yep. Yeah. San Francisco, there's three teams really close right there.
Yep.
In the National League West. 3 really good teams. It's fun to watch. But the Yanks are the first team to get 24 games. So Yankees are hot. They're 8-2 out of their last 10 games. Their winning streak is 5 games. So they're heading into tonight's game. They're hot.
Yep. And going back to this baseball talk by this Washington Post article analysis by Chelsea Janes, there's just some interesting paragraphs here. It says in the first month of the season, 10.3% of fly balls traveled for home runs, the lowest percentage since 2014.
Yeah, the ball's a little deadened, less bouncy.
And that is while a shortened spring training limited how much hitters could work on timing and expand April rosters meant more at-bats against fresh relievers, that little white sphere with the red seams remains at the center of debate.
Yep.
And then it also says, beyond measuring COR.
Yeah, the correlated spin on the ball, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because what they're talking about is the seams being higher. The seams being higher or more chalk on the ball.
Your ball.
Chalkier ball. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it says beyond measuring core, Alan Nathan, a University of Illinois physicist,
PhD,
who has previously advised MLB on baseball, studied drag, the force that works opposite the flight of the ball, caused by the way air moves around the seams and surface.
Yep.
Nathan studied home runs hit between April 18th and April 22 and concluded that the 2022 baseball experiences more drag and flight than it did in April 2021 and 2019 or 2018. The balls are not only less bouncy this season, but also less aerodynamic.
Right. So it was, you said 10.3% of the balls have been hit for home runs so far this season. The average before that was 12.7. So there's 2% less balls that are being hit for homers over the fence.
Yep.
So there's more drag on the ball, whether it's the seams being a little higher or the more chalkiness. But for some reason, the ball's just a little heavier or more deadened. And it also affects the pitchers, because if the seams are higher, it makes the spin on the ball different, and the chalkiness also. So it's a combination of the pitcher having a little bit different spin on the ball, and then the ball itself with the aerodynamics. It's all physics.
And the pitcher is going to try to have more spins on their ball.
Sure, the more spinning, the better it is for the pitcher, harder to hit.
The rotations per minute. And it kind of just goes back to what we were saying. This once again explains why there's the 6 feet average distance difference.
6 feet shorter. There you go.
On what we were discussing earlier on.
So you might hit one off the wall for a double or a triple, or you could get it caught, but it's not going out for a homer. 6 feet short.
Yep.
Maybe they'll shorten the fences at the stadiums. Well, the franchises can adjust the fences. So the fences can be adjusted. I remember when the Yankees in the old days, the center field was like 430 feet. Of course, they moved that in to be a lot closer. So they wanted to have some more home runs. But in Yankee Stadium, left field was the house that Ruth built. And that's why there's the short porch at 312 feet, and left field. Check that in right field for the Yankee Stadium for Ruth. And it's still that way.
Interesting.
Even with the new stadium.
Interesting. So do you think we will start seeing teams do this?
It's possible.
Because of this baseball, they want more home runs?
The teams do want more home runs. There was one other fact that was brought up in the article that I found interesting. There was a comment that perhaps they're trying to drop the amount of home runs so that they don't have to pay the free agent players as much money. So it gets a little, they always tie the money into it. It's a little complicated, but
that's true.
That would knock down.
Are definitely upset about this.
Well, you would not have as many home runs, and
It
maybe you get paid a little less
stats.
money. Yeah. Well, they get paid too much money as it is. they get paid a lot of money to play
That's up for
baseball.
debate.
Yeah, I'd play it for almost nothing. So I mean,
Right.
they're really lucky to be playing baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they get paid a lot of money, so that's good, and they're having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great sport. We love it. There's some great games today. I'm excited because we got all 30 teams in action, one doubleheader. And the first game is going to be San Francisco Giants are playing at 1:15 today. So that's the first game, and we'll be watching on Major League Baseball.
Starting in a few minutes.
Yep.
So we will catch you all next time on Blazing Baseball and blaze through tomorrow's topics.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Colby.
Until next time, peace.
Blazing Baseball. Peace out.